there, Marie Greene from Olive Knits here, and for today's Knitting Rescue 911, we are talking about ladders. Ladders happen when you're knitting on double point needles and you're working in the round, and the transition between one needle to the next is a little bit too loose. Let me show you what it looks like. Do you see this transition point here? And there's really noticeable bars between the stitches. Those are what we call ladders. And that's not what we want when we're knitting in the round. What we want to see are these nice, smooth transitions where you have an even and consistent fabric. You don't want to see that series of vertical column bars between your stitches. So to prevent that, it's really pretty simple. If you see this happening, it means you need to tighten up when you transition to the next needle. Every time you go from one double point to the next, that transition, that very first stitch, needs to be much tighter than your normal tension. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to use a different color DPN here so that you can see which one, because it's a lot of needles going on here. All right, so when I go to work in the round and I'm transitioning to the next needle, I go into that first stitch and I knit it, and then I pull nice and tight after I've made that stitch, just to make sure it's extra tight to compensate for that transition from the other needle. The rest of the stitches here are going to be worked at the normal tension. So you don't have to work the whole thing tight, just that first stitch. And once I get to the end of this needle, we'll do that transition one more time. Oh, almost there. And this is just really great to know if you're knitting socks or really anything where you are working in the round, especially double point needles, because this is so common with double points. All right, so here I'm at this point. I'm ready to transition from one needle to the next, and I want to keep this smooth, consistent fabric. So to do that, again, just knitting that first stitch, wrapping it, and then pulling it nice and tight. That will help get rid of any of that extra slack, and it will firm it up enough that it will compensate for that space between needles, and it will help you prevent ladders going forward. So that is my trick for preventing ladders in your knitting. If you love learning new knitting tips and tricks, make sure to like and follow me here on YouTube so you will be the first to know about new videos.